just wanted to show, this is mostly what people know me for, is science fiction, fantasy stuff. I do a lot of stuff for Star Wars, and then I also do, on my stream, I actually do a lot of practice stuff. So this is actually um, me copying another artist named Franklin Booth, who is an artist from the 1800s, just an amazing inker. But yeah, so just kind of, I constantly practicing, constantly trying to improve myself. And that's kind of what brings us to today. So we're going to do a quick thing on how to draw the child. So the child, colloquially known as Baby Yoda, essentially, whenever you want to draw, a lot of times you hear people talk about breaking things down into your basic shapes. So now Yoda, in this case, Baby Yoda, he actually has, this kind of egg-shaped head. So you can draw like an egg. And then, of course, the generic shape would be triangles coming out the side. So now if you've ever tried, and then just get the scale kind of right. But so that's pretty easy to draw, right? So you've got your egg, you got your triangles, bingo. Well, now you need, the center of the head right about there. He's got a nose. Well, because, if we want to do a little cartoony, you can actually make it, almost a square. So, or go a little rectangle with it as well. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's the great thing. And then think about, his eyes. Basically, Yoda's got big honking eyes. So we do that. And the other cool thing about this is, like I said, it's so far we have not done anything that is super challenging at all. So it's literally an oval, roughly 2 circles, a square, 2 triangles. Now it's just a matter of adding his features and stuff. So his features would be, most importantly, would be his mouth. Now, you could just do a straight line, but he actually has this really cute expression because he has this serious underbite. So his mouth actually curls up. And most of the time, this would look like a frown on most people, but the child has this little upturn at the very last second. And that basically creates the smirk that he has. And then the eyes are too perfect, so we want to create the lower eyelid. So you just draw the lower eyelid, just like that. And then his upper eyelid's right about here. And I'm going to cut in just a little bit to take some of the perfect roundness out of the eye. And this helps give some expression. So like if you wanted to make him angry or whatever, you would tip in a lot. We're not going to. We like him looking cute and happy, so we'll keep it big and open. Now he's also got massive irises and pupils. So technically he has a small iris, but his pupil is so large, it covers most of the eyes. So most people actually think he's just got giant black eyes, but he doesn't. If you look very, very carefully, you will see whites of his eyes off to the side. Fill those in really fast. And we're just kind of being rough. And the reason is because after I'm done penciling this, I'm going to show you how to ink it too. So, and then once you've got this, you kind of notice, if you want to get the shape of his head correct, there's another shape in here. There's another triangle, and it makes up the brow ridge and his nose. So you can go to that triangle there, kind of curves at the top though, sucks in on the sides here. We don't really want to pencil that in dark. That's just a guideline. The top part here, though, we can do. And then, of course, add the little ridge on his head there. So he's got a little dip that goes down, goes like that. And then his ear actually has a little flag right there. So the triangle is just our guide. And then it dips down like this. We'll have it go down, sink a little lower. Same thing here, because remember, nature likes symmetry. So you keep it just a little bit symmetrical here. And that's it. Pretty much just that super fast, you've got everything you need to actually draw the child. Now we're going to draw his clothes. So he's got this kind of huge, oversized kind of his little toddler clothes or whatnot. But basically, they're it's Baby Yoda's original keepers basically do like any good parent does. It's like, don't buy clothes that fit your kid. Buy clothes that are too big so they grow into them. And then so it's got this kind of, there's a opening, I guess, kind of in the collar here. And this is very organic, so we're going to actually just kind of shake our hand and scribble it up a bit. It's not perfect, doesn't need to be. Add a little bit of shadow and detail here. Now also you'll notice I'm holding my pencil on the side. And so one of the reasons I do that is I tend to draw like this when I'm drawing super fine detail. When I want to make it look like I actually know what I'm doing, I hold my pencil like this. And that's mostly because it makes such a broad line. I can't get into crazy detail, which a lot of times, all that fine detail will tends to sometimes hold you down when you're trying to draw. You get lost in the details, as they say. So what I do is hold the pencil to the side, just kind of do this. Also, a lot of my preliminary sketches and stuff, when I'm doing quick thumbnails or whatever, I actually use, I'll grab it right here. When I'm using like a mechanical pencil, this is actually a 0.9 pencil, which is really fat. Most of the time when I draw, I use a 0.5 or a 0.3. So, but this is what I use for sketching. Or, anytime I'm drawing, I like to use a nice blunt pencil for my initial thumbnailing or sketch stage, because it keeps me from getting so focused on the details that I forget that it's supposed to be a quick sketch. Also, when I was a kid, they had this guy, I can't remember his name because I was a real little kid when they cut the show off the air, but he used to draw Popeye. And I just remember some dude when I was a little kid in the 80s. He would sit there with a piece of, chalk or something, and he would just crank out these pictures of Popeye. And I always wanted to, it kind of made me want to sketch watching those shows. Like that ability to just sit down in 10 minutes and suddenly you've got, this really cool drawing. Cartoons, of course, being the easiest to do because you don't have to rely on anatomic anatomy. If I was asked to draw Luke Skywalker, we'd be here a lot longer than, 15, 20 minutes. So there you go. We can actually draw. Let's see, I don't think I had any reference around for it. I was going to say we could draw really fast just to give us some sense of scale. This is the Mandalorian's boot. So possibly should make this a little bit smaller because I think trying to remember how tall Yoda is, how tall the child is compared to the Mandalorian, but we'll just do that for now. It's a quick study. Now we're going to go to inking. So normally I've got this inking kit here. This is my inking tools. And so I have, your stereotypical, you always hear people talk about their Winsor Newton Series 7. The reason is these brushes are awesome. They have a nice spring to their tip, which allows you to get some super sharp edges. These are pretty hard to find. There is another company out there that makes a brush called the Da Vinci Maestro, which is a decent one as well. Also, it's Klinsky Sable brush. A little easier to find, about the same price though. And then I've got these Princeton brushes, which I use these for inking just large black areas if I'm not just using a big black marker. And of course, if I'm using crow quills, I got my dip pens there. For this, and of course we tend to wrap them up like this because it makes them easier to hold when you're inking for hours, prevents hand cramps. Very important. So, but now, since we're just doing something quick and dirty, we use the Yale Convention brush. So this is just a Pentel brush pen. And these things are brilliant for doing really quick sketches because you can get these fine lines, and then if you decide you suddenly want to do something, you know, not so fine, just that easy. You just push a little harder, spread out the brush bristles, bam. Suddenly you're Emerald Lagasse of art world. I feel like Jack Nicholson and Batman. Gotta stay in the lines. And then now that I'm doing the inking, I'm actually going to add, instead of just inking a square, I could keep it a square if I want, but I'm actually going to do the shape of a nose, which is basically, you know, flaring out like a little shape there for the nostrils. Nothing too detailed, nothing crazy or spectacular. Just kind of rocking and roll here. It's so much fun to draw like this too. It's this is a good exercise, by the way, to warm up, or if you want to do daily sketches or something. It's a great way to just keep yourself nice and loose. And again, this all started out with just the basic shapes, you know, nothing crazy, no amazing talent. All I drew was an oval, two circles, a little rectangle, and two triangles. Three if you include the brow ridge. And then after that, you just start rounding and associating everything. You get some lovely textures and stuff kind of built up there. And by the way, we're going to be donating this artwork afterwards. We're going to donate this to StocktonCon. So StocktonCon is a nonprofit. They raise money for the local community. So we will be donating this. So if you're interested, just make sure you follow StocktonCon on Facebook. And also when Mike gets back here in a minute, you can chat with him, find out where and when these will go up for sale. Super, super fast. Like I said, not going too crazy on detail. We can add like this little bit of ground here. A little rock, some grass. And that just gives us a little sense of environment, as it were. So also I rotated really fast because when I did this, I placed wet ink where my hand was going to be. But now when I rotated it, I was able to keep drawing on other areas. And now it's dry enough I can put my hand there. So and then again, we don't want to make that full triangle, but we will add the little ridges like that at the top of the triangle. Maybe pull in one side, just one, not the other side. This gives us a sense of lighting. So since I've got the little light kind of glints on that side of the eyeball, we'll put this on that side so it kind of hints at shadow. So you can also do that by, when you ink, make your lines on this side a little bit thicker. I usually do that towards the end, maybe, time permitting. So I try to get all the lines in first. And then if I decide that I want to try and make something look a little bit more in shadow, or try to get a little more line depth or something, give it some kind of, perspective or whatnot, then I would come back and start thickening up the lines. So if my light's on the right, everything, or my light's on the left, excuse me, all my lights or all the areas that were on the right, I would generally make the lines a little thicker and even add a little more lines, a little denser. We'll probably get to that here in a minute. But there you go. A quick and dirty, really fast, nothing special, but it will impress your friends. Really great at cocktail parties, maybe coffee shops. How to draw Baby Yoda. Now we're actually gonna, now we get into the finesses and stuff. So you could walk away from this right now and be like, okay, it's done. If you're at a convention or something, you have a lot of other commissions due.
Lee, what's your favorite Star Wars character to draw?
Believe it or not, I love drawing Yoda. Just in general, Yoda. There's just so much texture in his face, and there's so much you can do with his expression. And I love drawing him on Dagobah because I love doing, like actually if we'll ixnay the Mandalorian's boot back there, we'll do this instead. I love doing, drawing like the vegetation and the trees and things. So I can actually do that here rather quickly as well. But I love just kind of adding in the textures and stuff in the environment. So it's drawing Yoda is great. Drawing Dagobah, Yoda in Dagobah, even better. Maybe have like a little vine or something here. And how are these going to be auctioned off? Because I told everybody that uh, you were going to auction them off, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get asked on my social media where and
We're
how.
going to
So
do
I
it
told
on
them
our
just
Facebook page. And just to
okay.
clarify what Lee had said, we are actually not a nonprofit, but we do donate to a lot of
Oh yes,
local charities. So just want to clear that up.
yeah, okay, yes,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, we will be doing it on our Facebook page. We'll have a few pieces to auction off, and they will be available. I believe we'll start the auctions on Tuesday evening.
Okay. So there you go. Follow StocktonCon on Facebook.
All right. So while you're kind of drawing and finishing up here, what is
Mhm.
your favorite of all the Star Wars movies?
Um, I love. I would probably have to say Empire Strikes Back. Um, and for absolutely different reasons than most people. For me, I'm huge on character growth. You know, Empire Strikes Back is the movie where Luke finally admits he has to do something. It's the movie that there are like lots of good character growth. Han Solo has also admitted that he's being a smuggler doesn't do you any good if you're in an oppressive society. And they're killing smugglers. So it definitely works out that all the characters have kind of come into their realization that they need to do something. And I love that. And of course, it does end on that down note of Han Solo being captured. So it also goes with the whole anti logic of the hero always wins. That movie, the hero doesn't win. Um, and I just always thought that was a real novel way. Granted, yeah, yes, because you know, uh, Avengers did the exact same thing with Infinity War. It's the heroes didn't win, uh, but it left it open so that they could do an amazing movie afterwards. So not having the hero win every damn time made it, in my opinion, allowed for more compelling storytelling. Visually, believe it or not, I'm a huge fan of The Last Jedi. Um, I may not, it's definitely not my favorite as far as the story goes or story cohesion, but there are some definitely beautiful, visually stunning scenes in that movie. I love the salt on the the planet Crate,
Hmm.
where they have the salt and then the red soil underneath, and it just creates such a great visually striking contrast.
Omar on our Facebook chat has a question. His
Mm-hmm.
question is, what is your favorite episode of The Mandalorian?
My favorite episode of The Mandalorian. Um, I think it's episode 3. And again, I I remember reading everybody complaining about the Mandalorian not taking off his helmet, and it's like, oh, you can't emote with a helmet on, you can't do this with a helmet on, and blah blah blah. There's like he's always got his bucket on. And then on episode 3, you have the whole scene with when he makes that decision without any dialogue or anything, just physicality, just acting in body language and his gestures, where you see him come to the conclusion that, nope, I've got to do something. And it's when he reaches to basically pull the knob, pull the shift down on his Razor Crest, and uh, the knob is missing. And just the physicality of Pedro's acting in that, to me, was just like, okay, yeah, that's cool, because that's the moment he went from being a bounty hunter to being a hero.
Well, we were running out of time here, but
No
really
problem.
appreciate you taking time out of your day to show this incredible drawing, and I know that you're doing this on the quick side, but it still looks great. And thank you
Thanks.
so much for being a part of this.
No problem. Happy to help out. So I'll do a little bit more on the background stuff here, and then just let me know